Listen carefully. My family was absurdly powerful. My grandfather, Magnus Blackthorn, was known across the nation as the Supreme Marshal. My grandmother, Eleanor Blackthorn, ranked among the wealthiest people in the country. My uncles controlled major industries, military divisions, and political networks. With a background that touched the sky itself, I should have been everyone's favorite. At least that was how the story was supposed to go. Instead, my fiancé publicly humiliated me. The engagement banquet was packed with influential guests when Sophia Langley suddenly stepped forward, grabbed a microphone, and shouted, "I would rather marry a stray dog than marry Ethan Blackthorn." The hall fell silent. Then she turned dramatically and wrapped her arms around a handsome young man standing nearby, Damien Cross. The crowd erupted with whispers. Everyone knew Damien. He had a talent for playing the victim while secretly manipulating people around him. Somehow, he had convinced Sophia that he was her true soulmate. Dozens of guests looked at me with pity, amusement, or outright mockery. They expected rage. They expected heartbreak. Instead, I smiled. Not a warm smile, the kind of smile villains wore before disasters happened. "Where are the Blackthorn guards?" I asked calmly. Heavy footsteps echoed through the hall. A tall warrior stepped forward. Victor Hale, an 8th-rank martial expert. He lowered his head. "Young master, your orders." I looked at the happy couple standing together in the center of the room. "Remove them." The temperature in the hall seemed to drop. Damien's face immediately turned pale. Sophia, however, showed no fear. She pointed at me and shouted, "Ethan, you claimed you loved me. Is this what you call love?" Victor hesitated. Sophia noticed and smiled confidently. "See, even your own people know you're wrong. Real love means wanting the other person to be happy. I found happiness with Damien. You should bless us instead of threatening us." Her words would have worked on the old Ethan. Unfortunately for her, the old Ethan was gone. I wasn't the original owner of this body. I had awakened inside his life only days earlier. From the memories I inherited, the original Ethan had been hopelessly obsessed with Sophia. He spent fortunes on gifts, poured endless resources into her family, and ignored every warning from those who cared about him. In return, she laughed behind his back. She secretly dated Damien. Together they planned to exploit the Blackthorn family until nothing remained. I folded my arms. "Before today, your relationship with me was personal, but now you've publicly insulted the Blackthorn family. That's no longer a private matter." Sophia finally looked uneasy. Damien stepped forward. "If you're really a man, fight me yourself," he shouted. "Stop hiding behind your family's power." I stared at him. "Idiot." His face instantly turned red. Before he could respond, Sophia's father hurried forward. Richard Langley forced a nervous smile. "Young Master Ethan, surely we can settle this peacefully. We'll return every engagement gift." Sophia was foolish, but there's no reason to damage relations between our families. I looked at him without emotion. The man was lying through his teeth. The Langley family had risen entirely through Blackthorn support. Without us, they would lose everything. Yet they still thought they could betray us and walk away unharmed. I turned toward the guards. "Detain every member of the Langley family." Gasps spread across the hall. "Anyone who resists," I continued, "will regret it." "Yes, young master." The guards moved instantly. One arrogant Langley cousin tried to protest. "How dare a mere guard touch?" A slap cut him off. He crashed onto the floor unconscious. The room exploded into chaos. Richard's expression froze. He couldn't understand what was happening. The Ethan he knew would have apologized by now. He would have begged Sophia to stay. He would have sacrificed everything for a smile. But I wasn't that Ethan. The old tragedy would not repeat itself. Sophia stormed toward me. "You attacked my cousin. Ethan, apologize right now. Then dismiss these guards and kneel before my father." The guards stopped again. Apparently, they still remembered how the original Ethan used to obey every word she said. Sophia clearly expected the same result. Instead, I laughed. "No," the single word echoed through the hall. Her confidence cracked. "What? No deals, no negotiations, no second chances." Just then, another figure entered. Professor Adrian Graves, a half-saint level martial master and Damien's mentor. A wave of pressure rolled across the room. "Young man," Graves said coldly, "you've gone too far." Most guests immediately relaxed. To them, Professor Graves was an untouchable authority. To me, he was merely another obstacle. I met his gaze. "Are you planning to interfere?" "If necessary." I nodded slowly. Then I pulled out my phone. The call connected almost immediately. A cheerful elderly voice answered. "Ethan, how is the engagement celebration?" "Your father and I are still at the border, but I'll definitely attend the wedding." I smiled faintly. "Grandfather, I've been bullied." Then the old man's voice became dangerously calm. "Tell me everything." I explained the situation in a few short sentences. The silence that followed was terrifying. Finally, he spoke. "Interesting." That single word carried enough fury to shake nations. "What would you like to do, Ethan?" A cold light appeared in my my eyes. I think it's time to test whether I'm worthy of becoming the Blackthorn heir. Grandfather laughed, not happily, the kind of laugh predators make before hunting. Excellent answer. An hour later, Blackthorn Manor had become a fortress. The first to arrive was Ares Blackthorn. The massive gates opened, and his voice rolled across the estate like thunder. Ethan, who dared touch my nephew? More than 30 elite warriors followed him through the gates. I explained everything. The humiliation, the broken engagement, the public insult to the Blackthorn name. By the time I finished, murderous intent radiated from Ares like heat from a furnace. Give the order, he said. I'll erase the Langley family tonight. Before I could answer, another figure entered. Cedric Blackthorn. Unlike Ares, he looked calm. That made him more dangerous. Ares wants to destroy them, Cedric said. I merely want to know who thought provoking the Blackthorns was a good idea. No one answered, because everyone knew the answer. At the Langley estate, confidence still lingered. Richard Langley paced the study. Sophia sat beside Damien. She looked annoyed rather than worried. Father, you're overreacting. Richard stared at her. You humiliated Ethan Blackthorn in front of half the nation's elite. So, his voice cracked. The Blackthorns can destroy us. Sophia laughed. They won't. Why? Because Ethan loves me. The certainty in her voice was absolute. For years, she had watched Ethan forgive every insult. She genuinely believed he always would. Damien smiled. He'll come back. Richard wanted to believe them. Then the door exploded inward. A blood-covered servant stumbled inside. The Blackthorns. A blade pierced his chest. The room fell silent. An armored Blackthorn enforcer stepped over the corpse. Come with me. Richard finally understood. This wasn't negotiation. This was judgment. 30 minutes later, the entire Langley family stood in Blackthorn Manor's central courtyard. Cold lanterns illuminated the scene. I sat in a black chair at the center. Sophia looked around for the first time and realized something was wrong. No one was smiling. No one was afraid of her. No one cared who she was. Karen Langley immediately began screaming. Release us! The Blackthorn enforcer struck her before I even moved. She crashed into the stone pavement. Blood filled her mouth. Sophia rushed forward. Mother! Then she turned toward me. Ethan, make him apologize. The words echoed through the courtyard. Several guards actually laughed. For the first time, uncertainty appeared in Sophia's eyes. Something fundamental had changed. The Ethan she knew no longer existed. I stood. Your betrayal was public. The courtyard fell silent. So your punishment will also be public. The Langley family began panicking. Damien stepped forward. Despite the fear in his eyes, he still attempted to sound brave. Sophia chose me. I looked at him, and his confidence faltered. You can't force someone to love you. No, I smiled. But I can hold people accountable for betrayal. That answer frightened him more than any threat. The sound of another arrival interrupted everything. Professor Adrian Graves, the half-saint. The man landed in the courtyard like a meteor. Relief flooded Damien's face. Master! Graves looked at me. You've gone too far. I disagree. You're abusing your family's power. I laughed. Interesting. And what exactly are you doing? The professor's expression darkened. Without another word, he attacked. Purple energy exploded from his palm. Several Blackthorn guards were thrown backward. The courtyard erupted into chaos. Then Ares stepped forward. The atmosphere changed instantly. The martial saint had finally decided to move. Graves. His voice was terrifyingly calm. You touched my family. For the first time, Graves looked uneasy. Their battle began with a single step. The ground exploded beneath them. Shockwaves ripped across the courtyard. Walls shattered. Windows burst. The spectators fled in panic. Purple lightning collided with black martial energy. Ares punched through a storm of attacks. Graves countered with dozens of energy blades. The sky lit up. Explosions echoed across the estate. Every collision shook the estate. For several minutes, neither side gave ground. Then Ares smiled. That's all. Graves' face changed. He realized something horrifying. Ares hadn't been serious. Not yet. The martial saint raised one hand. A giant black palm formed above the courtyard. The heavenly demon palm. The pressure alone forced hundreds of people to their knees. Graves roared and unleashed everything. Purple light engulfed the sky. The attacks collided. For one brief moment, the world seemed frozen. Then the palm crushed everything. The energy shattered. The ground collapsed. Graves crashed into the earth. Blood poured from his mouth. His cultivation cracked. His aura collapsed. The battle was over. The silence afterward felt heavier than the fight itself. Sophia stared at the crater. Her protector was gone. Damien stared at his unconscious master. His future was gone. For the first time since the engagement banquet, genuine fear entered his heart. I walked toward him. You used Sophia. Damien said nothing. You used the Langley family. Still nothing. You used Professor Graves. His lips trembled. Finally, he snapped. I did what I had to do. true. The confession echoed through the courtyard. Sophia froze. What? Damien realized too late what he had said. You told me Ethan was weak, Sophia whispered. Damien avoided her eyes. You said he would never fight back. You lied to me. The realization shattered something inside her. Years of arrogance collapsed. Years of self-delusion vanished. She finally understood. Damien had never loved her. He loved access to Blackthorn wealth. Nothing more. Sophia dropped to her knees. Not before me, before the truth. Tears streamed down her face. The confident woman from the engagement banquet was gone. I ruined everything. No one answered. I ruined my family. Richard lowered his head. He couldn't deny it. I ruined myself. Her voice broke. For the first time, she sounded human. Not arrogant. Not manipulative. Just broken. I watched silently. The old Ethan would have comforted her. I did not. Some mistakes cannot be undone. Damien attempted to flee. He took 3 steps. A Blackthorn enforcer blocked his path. He turned. Another guard waited there. Every exit was sealed. His confidence finally disappeared. What do you want from me? I looked directly into his eyes. The truth. Under pressure, Damien confessed everything. The manipulation, the stolen resources, the schemes, the lies. Every word drove Sophia deeper into despair. When he finished, even the Langley family looked at him with hatred. The illusion was dead. As dawn approached, the Blackthorn family stood victorious. The Langley family had fallen. Professor Graves had been defeated. Damien had exposed himself. Sophia had lost everything. And for the first time since arriving in this world, I understood exactly how dangerous the path ahead would be. This victory was only the beginning. The arrival of the Kyoto Security Bureau changed everything. Moments earlier, the courtyard had belonged to the Blackthorn family. Now 2 powers stood facing one another. Weapons gleamed beneath the lantern light. Blackthorn enforcers formed a wall of steel. Across from them, the Bureau's tactical unit tightened formation. One mistake would ignite a massacre. I remained seated. Director Sterling Kane slowly stepped forward. Enough blood has been spilled tonight. Uncle Aries laughed. The sound carried no amusement. Interesting timing. You arrive only after my nephew is betrayed, my family is insulted, and an outsider attacks Blackthorn guards. Kane's eyes narrowed. I'm here to prevent further escalation. Then you should have arrived sooner. No one spoke after that. The tension became unbearable. Even the wind seemed unwilling to cross the courtyard. Professor Adrian Graves pushed himself to his feet. Blood stained his robes, yet pride still burned inside his eyes. Ethan Blackthorn, he said, you've won because of your family. I rose slowly. Then why are you standing behind yours? A murmur spread through the crowd. Graves' expression darkened. For years he had enjoyed authority, respect, influence. No one had ever questioned him publicly. Until now, he pointed at me. You lack compassion, and you lack honesty. His hand trembled. I continued. When Damien manipulated Sophia, you ignored it. When he exploited my family's resources, you ignored it. When you attacked my guards, you called it justice. The crowd began whispering. One accusation after another struck harder than a blade. For the first time, Graves had no answer. Director Kane closed his eyes. Professor Graves, the old professor, looked toward him. You disgraced the academy. Those words hit harder than any attack. Something inside Graves finally broke. Aries Blackthorn stepped forward. The ground cracked beneath his feet. The atmosphere changed instantly. This was no longer an argument. This was judgment. Graves understood it too. Purple lightning erupted from his body. His aura exploded skyward. The courtyard shook. Several weaker spectators collapsed. Then Aries released his own power. Black energy rolled outward like a tidal wave. The sky darkened. Every person present felt the difference. One was a half-saint. The other was a true martial saint. Graves attacked first. Thousands of violet blades appeared in the air. They descended like a storm. Aries walked forward. Each step shattered dozens of attacks. He didn't dodge. He didn't retreat. He simply advanced. The image was terrifying. The crowd watched in disbelief. Graves unleashed everything. Secret techniques, forbidden arts, desperate attacks. The sky became a battlefield of black and purple light. Explosions echoed for miles. Half the courtyard collapsed. Several distant buildings shattered. Yet Aries continued advancing. Unstoppable. Relentless. I finally understood why entire armies feared my uncle. Graves roared. His final technique erupted. A massive spear of violet energy descended from the heavens. The attack contained every remaining ounce of his power. For a brief moment, even Aries stopped moving. Then he smiled. Good. He raised one hand. A colossal black palm materialized above the estate. The heavenly demon palm. The heavens themselves seemed to tremble. The palm descended. The spear shattered. The sky cracked. The earth split. The attack struck Graves directly. Silence followed. When the dust settled, a crater stretched across half the courtyard. Graves lay at its center. His cultivation had collapsed. His legend ended that night. night. Then Damien began backing away. One step, then another. Fear had finally conquered arrogance. Going somewhere? Asked. He froze. Several enforcers blocked every path. The trap had closed. Damien swallowed. Ethan, we can talk. The words sounded pathetic. Hours earlier, he had challenged me openly. Now he couldn't even meet my eyes. I approached slowly. You told Sophia I was weak. You told her I would forgive everything. You used her family. Finally, he exploded. Yes, the confession echoed across the courtyard. Every Langley family member stared at him. You think I cared about Sophia? His voice cracked. I cared about survival. Sophia froze. Damien laughed bitterly. The Blackthorns had everything. His eyes became bloodshot. We had nothing, so I took what I could. Every word drove the knife deeper. Sophia looked as though her soul had left her body. For years she had believed she chose true love. Instead, she had chosen a parasite. Damien collapsed to his knees. The illusion was over. Sophia never looked at Damien again. She simply stared at the ground. Memories flooded her mind. Every warning Ethan had ignored. Every gift. Every sacrifice. Every chance she had wasted. Back then, she believed Ethan would always remain by her side. She thought she could betray him and still keep him. Now she finally understood. Some doors only close once, and once closed, they never open again. Tears streamed down her face. Not elegant tears. Not dramatic tears. The ugly tears of someone confronting reality. I destroyed everything. Her voice barely carried. Richard lowered his head. Karen said nothing. No one could deny the truth. Sophia had not merely lost a fiancé. She had destroyed her future. Destroyed her family's position. Destroyed the lives of everyone who trusted her. For the first time, I felt no anger. Only distance. The old Ethan loved her. I did not. As dawn approached, a massive screen activated. Grandfather Magnus appeared from the northern frontier. Every Blackthorn member immediately straightened. His gaze swept across the courtyard. I have observed everything. The old man's voice carried absolute authority. Ethan Blackthorn. I stepped forward. Yes, grandfather. The old marshal smiled. Tonight you faced betrayal. Pause. Manipulation. Another pause. Political pressure. His eyes sharpened. And you did not bend. The courtyard fell silent. I therefore declare Ethan Blackthorn the official heir of the Blackthorn family. The announcement struck like thunder. Enforcers immediately knelt. Warriors followed. Servants followed. Even many guests bowed their heads. Greetings, young heir. The shout echoed through the estate. At that moment, my life changed forever. Hours later, the estate finally quieted. The wounded were treated. The prisoners removed. The dead accounted for. Director Kane approached me one last time. His expression was serious. Congratulations. Thank you. He handed me a sealed black folder. I opened it. My expression immediately changed. Inside were reports from the northern frontier. Destroyed outposts, missing expeditions, ancient ruins, entire military units erased without explanation. One name appeared repeatedly. The Obsidian Covenant, a secret organization believed extinct decades ago. At the bottom of the final page stood a single sentence. Target Ethan Blackthorn. Threat level catastrophic. A chill ran down my spine. Director Kane noticed. You understand now. I nodded. Everything that happened tonight suddenly seemed small. Sophia, Damien, the engagement, the betrayal. Those events had only been the prologue. Beyond the frontier, something far older and more dangerous had begun moving. And somehow it was moving toward me. I looked toward the dark horizon. A storm was coming. This time, the fate of more than one family would be decided.